Well, we're going to go ahead and get this started off. And as people are entering in, welcome to the final PR and marketing meeting. I'm going to turn this chair over to Dan, and he's going to run it for the next year. It's awesome. We're always here to help, of course. And since I'm a little on the move, I'm going to let Dan go ahead and start because he's got some great ideas on the new Rotary International theme and how you can incorporate it in your club. And then we'll talk a little bit about how, as new presidents and or new PR chairs, you can transition your club.
She's cutting out.
Yep, she's traveling.
President to the next. So Dan, take it away.
It looks like her image was frozen too. Did you notice?
Yeah, she'll be in and out, but we're going to start off by talking about transitioning from Rotary International's current presidential theme to the next presidential theme for 23-24. I'm just going to share my screen really quick. See how quickly this works. Okay. Here we go. Okay, can you see the presidential themes, the two on here?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Okay. So obviously, as you all know, that every president since like 1950 something has come up with their own presidential theme, and it usually has something to do with something that they are passionate about. Our next RI president is using create hope in the world by working for peace and mental well-being. And he's urging members to engage in tough conversations and earn the trust that's necessary to realize these values. So this is a pretty special theme this year. It does come with some guidelines to follow. Well, in my world, since I'm always trying to create marketing materials, I try to have a lot of fun with these logos. I think they're awesome, super colorful, eye-catching. But there's still limitations that we have to stick to. So I just wanted to kind of go through that real quick and give you some of the guidelines here. So, let me pull up the branding guidelines here real quick. All right, so this is this year's logo, and you can see it's got two different versions. There's the horizontal logo and the vertical logo. The horizontal logo is meant to be side by side in a lockup with like your district logo or the Rotary logo or your club logo. The regular logo you can use in all other applications, basically. Here are some examples of what I was just talking about. The interesting part about the presidential theme logo that I don't know if most people even know about is it's not actually meant to be used in the public. It's actually only meant to be used internally between Rotarians. So based on these guidelines, it's probably not the best thing to use on stationary things that you might be sending out, flyers or letterheads, unless it's just for internal use, which is kind of a bummer, again, because this is an awesome logo and it's super eye-catching. But Rotary has invested a lot of money and a lot of time into rebranding using the current logo that you see on the top there, or similar to it without the district, obviously. But that's what they want people to visualize when they hear Rotary. And if they see that, they want to think everybody to think Rotary. So that's kind of something that you have to keep in the back of your mind. Since I get to do, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I ordered several plaques for different organizations, different sponsorships, and things like that. Car dealer, thank you to the venue where we host our lunches. They all have that image on it from Russell Hampton. Those are not Rotary people, they're associated with us.
Yeah, it's funny because they actually call that out. They said the only time you can use this stuff is if it's under an official Rotary licensed vendor.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's actually a part of the guidelines. You can use it for that purpose, but it has to go through them. So you can't go to your local embroidery shop and have them, put something together or something like that. But yeah, only licensed vendors can create the stuff, and then you can purchase that and use it for those things. But the intent is to keep it internal.
Are you saying then that for our internal publications, we can't, or for say our website, can we use the vertical logo?
It's not supposed to be used if you're putting it out to the public. That requires some Rotary policing, public image policing. Steve, were you going to say something? Or
I was going to say, what's going to happen, excuse me, on July 1st, day before, is that DB is going to update everybody's website. And on it, it's going to be put the new logo from RI. Now, outside people coming into our website are going to see it.
Yeah. No,
maybe the right question to ask is, what's the penalty if we do it? I mean, is there a logo police that's going to go around and troll us? And
you
can't do that.
We have
no penalty because there's no police.
Yeah. Literally, I have heard now, I know this won't happen, but I've heard that anytime you break a rule, from Rotary International, the worst thing that could happen is they could pull your charter. That is not going to happen in this case. But I've heard that threat. I mean, I know that's not even realistic, but I think that's just absolute worst case scenario. I'm sure there's a lot more behind that you would have to do to get to that level. So I wouldn't count on that at all. I think just keep it in the back of your mind that it's not necessarily meant to be used publicly. It's meant to be used internally. Do what you can is all I'm saying, but that's just what the guidelines say. So that's kind of what we just want to try to stick to. When you are using it, they still have some official, rules on how to make it. Like I said, the lockup, that's what these are right here. That's what they want that to look like. They still have some specs that require you to keep some space around it.
So Dan, can we talk what a lockup means? Because people on this call may not be familiar with that terminology.
If there's something more official, the lockup that I've always been using is you're putting the two. You can utilize two basically sections of one logo. So you have the ones obviously like you see right here. You could have your Rotary District logo on one side, the theme logo on the other side. The other side could also be maybe somebody that you're collaborating with or partnering with. So if it said Rotary on this side and maybe Shelter Box on that side, that's how you can merge those two and create one logo out of some sort of partnership or collaboration.
It's very distinctive that there's the line in between, and so that is what the quote unquote lockup is that you're not just stacking these logos willy-nilly on top of each other or around each other, but that you're putting the approved logo for your club on the left, that very specific line and either the international logo, or if you have, as Dan was saying, a partner that you're working with, another nonprofit that you're working with, that you're putting them on the other side of that line. And that just creates a good solid delineation between what the logo is for Rotary and the other entity that you're working with or promoting with.
And when you're in the templates section of the your Brand Central, you're going to have access, to create these lockups, and it's going to, obviously put what information where it's approved by Rotary. So whether you want your club's name on the top or the bottom, it's going to sort that all out for you. So every time you create one, it all falls within their guidelines.
So we have some new presidents and new public relations directors here. By a raise of hands, who knows or has been to the Rotary Brand Central? Okay, so we got a couple of people that don't know what that is. Dan, can you take us to? I don't want to jump ahead. Did you have more on this?
Yeah, there's just one more piece to this, or there's two. Okay. Let me just go through that real quick, and then I'll go back to the Rotary Brand Central. So another important thing to know is the color codes. If you choose to use them, so that in the Rotary presidential theme guidelines, obviously they give you the color codes. Are you guys familiar on how to use color codes? Have you ever used them in any case? So I'll just quickly go right into Canva. If you've been on these before, I've talked about Canva quite a bit. So basically, if you're creating some sort of flyer and you enjoy these themes, the color that goes with that theme, you can colorize your flyer by using these specific codes. So if you click on maybe like a border or your text, you can actually type in these numbers into Canva, and it'll find that exact color code. So you can make sure that your border or your text, whatever, matches whatever else you're creating. So pretty cool tool.
Yeah, but I read somewhere but you cannot change the color of the logo itself.
Yeah, I'm getting to that point. Yeah.
All right.
And then of course, Open Sans. Yeah. Yeah, Open Sans is the text, the font. So that's exactly what we were just talking about right here. You cannot change the logo at all. You can't change the configuration, the color, shading, the angle. Obviously, you cannot cover it up. Yeah, so that's super important. So you can never alter the logo. And I like the second one. Create hope in the world. This is probably something that I would most likely see. Rotary Club of, down here at the bottom. That's probably going to be the most common one. That's definitely not allowed. So, okay, let me get out of this and go to.
So while Dan is pulling up the Brand Central, which is something especially new presidents, and any of our PR teams will be looking at, it's going to be a great resource. So one of the things we wanted to talk about today is transitioning between your current president to your incoming president. And maybe we can just sort of shout out some things that you are doing to update your PR in that transition. Does anyone want to kind of throw out something that they're doing or they would think that needs to be done in a transition?
Well, change the officers list on our websites.
Correct. To update the website. So not just the officers list, depending upon what website you have. If you have the easy and beautiful website with DACDB, all you have to do is make sure that your officers and information is updated in DACDB, and it automatically should pull it to your website. if you're not using that, or you're somehow creating your website in another way, you need to make sure that your pictures are changed out, so that if you have a picture and a message from your president, that's changed out, that all of the data on where you meet, when you meet, how you meet is updated. You've got the right times. If a phone number changed, I don't know if you put on your website a phone number for the president or the public relations chair, but those numbers need to change. What else do you think that should be done? Anyone? Stephen?
Well, actually, I went through some of that procedure today on DACDB because I was doing certain setups, especially with our finance module. If anybody's using finance module, make sure all of your information is up to date by the end of the month. You don't have to close your year out yet, but you must have everything complete. Anything else happens automatically.
I'm speaking more on the PR side.
On the PR side,
right.
Personally, I find nothing different that needs to be done except to carry on. You know, all the new logos and setups will happen on July by July 1st, and just now move forward and just update all of your stationery or anything else you're working with and take it from there.
Do you make an announcement on your social media channels that you have a new president?
It will happen. The answer, of course, of social media, absolutely. We'll do it both on Facebook and Instagram. And, you know, we have a person that's every week, Kevin Taylor, that makes everything up to date. And we're right there, as you know that.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to focus on, because this is the PR and marketing workshop. We're focusing on PR and marketing. So these would be things that like Kevin would work on, or anybody in your PR, on your PR team. Your new presidents need to make sure that your information is up and correct on your websites, that there is possibly a press release that is sent out to, if you have local newspapers, this is something that they sometimes will publish. In the very least, they might put it in the, what's happening in the town section. Dan, I'm not seeing that come up. My screen's still frozen on the what not to do with the logos.
Now it's on you.
Now it's on.
So what I'm hearing you say, Judy, and I'm taking it as an opportunity to do PR for your club. Anytime you change something, officers do something great, it's an opportunity to get the word out. And so it makes sense that if you're changing over to new president, new board, if you have new ideas, new goals, it represents an opportunity to do some PR for the club, correct? That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. And it's a great opportunity to kind of reassess and make sure that all of your information is up to date and that you have the current information available for your public. You got to remember, we have an internal audience that changes pretty automatically, but the external audience doesn't know what we're doing inside of our clubs, and they need to also know. And with that, I'll turn it back to Dan to talk about Rotary Brand Center.
So most of you guys should be familiar with Rotary Brand Center. They actually just revamped it this last year. So there's been quite a few changes to this website. It's just jam-packed full of information that you can utilize. Couple areas right here, our brand, how to they give you a lot of information on how to use the branding. Tons of downloads. There's some really cool videos. I don't know if anybody's ever tried this, but they give you some basically like 15, 30-second commercials that you can utilize for your social media, put them on your website or whatever. You can even actually customize them by doing voiceovers over the video, and they give you scripts that you can actually read. So it's more personal, to your Rotary Club. So stuff like that. I mean, this is like endless possibilities, all kinds of templates for your individual clubs, the district, zones, obviously, all the different programs, Interact, Rotaract, those logo lockups we were just talking about. Super easy to create, only a few clicks of a mouse to get there.
Can we show them an example by creating a business card for a president?
Business card for a president?
Mm-hmm. I'm giving you a challenge.
I guess so, because I've never done that on here. But that just
go to
proves
club and
how much
member
cool...
Go to Club and Member Resources, which is or you can search it.
Well, there was something there that just said cards.
Yeah, down Club and Member Resources, right there. There we go. There you go.
I kept trying to move the screen and it wouldn't work.
Go to business cards.
Okay.
There you go. Create. I just want to show you how simple this is to create. It literally on the left shows you where you put your name and club and district. And then on as for the logo, you should have there you go, District 5330 logo. It makes it for you. So it's filling out a form, and then once you get done with that, you can download the file and send it to Vistaprint or your local printer and print your cards up.
Oh, here's another good feature. When you do send it to the printer, you want to add the crop marks, the crop and bleed, so they can cut the card down to its exact size. And then save it as a PDF.
I like your phone numbers.
Easy to remember, right?
He's got some fancy fun. But I mean, they have really done a lot of work to make this so simple for people like me. Dan is absolutely amazing and creative, but I don't have a creative bone in my body. I just know what looks good. And I can go in here, fill out a form, and make a flyer or a trifold or business cards. And it's really pretty amazing and very robust. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's already got a lot of stuff for you as a new club or a new PR person within your club. You have all these great resources that you can wow your members and your community with the collateral materials that you have. So while Dan is showing us this, do you have any questions about brandcenter.rotary.org? And that is the the website, brandcenter.rotary.org. You do not have to sign in a password to get to it. It is open for you to take a look at and get in there and have creative fun. Any questions? Anything that you are needing to create for your club that you guys have been taking a look at? Has anybody been saying, hey, I wish we had a brochure or cards or something for Interact?
Judy, I need new street signs. We have 3 or 4 up around the city. Mm-hmm. And I've been wondering where I go to get those updated street signs made. Do I go to Russell Hampton or is it possible here?
Well, this is where you might design them, but does the city create them for you, or what kind of signs?
I think this city puts them up for us.
Okay. Well, You would probably go to Russell Hampton as a provider, but street signs might be one of those that is one of those things that sometimes you might not find a Rotary provider for because it is a very unique thing. The key would be to get a picture and size of what you need to have recreated. And then you can always kind of touch base with Dan and I, and then we can give you some suggestions on where you might want to go and maybe even some assistance with that specific design because that is a unique item and that's a very good question.
And you'll go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you'll probably at least grab the logo from here and then give it to whoever might end up designing it.
I was thinking that Russell Hampton may already have it. These are pretty typical, Qantas. Everybody has those kind of things. Ours are two. One has the logo and the club name, and then the second piece of metal has I believe just our website, and that's what I need changed. But if we're going to change them, I'm thinking we need to do both pieces because they're kind of tired.
Yeah, I would check with Russell Hampton first.
Yeah, they really at least have the big,
have all kinds of stuff.
They at least have the mark of excellence. So, yeah. So I just looked it up. They have it on their website.
Okay, thanks.
So Mike, as a new incoming president, is there anything that you need as president for marketing your club?
Honestly, I don't know what I need, but I do have a very capable PR who's been coming in, and I'm just sort of sitting in for her, and I'm going to feed what I learned tonight to her. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know. So I feel very content right now. Yeah.
That's always a good place to be. Well, we are recording this and we will have it up on our YouTube channel. If you're not aware that the Rotary District 5330 does have a YouTube channel, these PR workshops from the past are up here as well, are on that channel, and you might be able to pick up some good ideas from there.
Oh yeah, I'm learning every day because we're also doing a little, the merger thing too.
Right.
That's a big transition, and I'm looking forward to it, but there's a lot more to Rotary than I originally thought, which I've shared with you before. So yes. Anytime I get an opportunity to learn something, like that's the only reason I'm here is because you sent that email to me earlier, or to everyone, I guess, I actually read it,
Yay, one of my emails got read, I love it.
That's the first notification of these meetings I've had, Judy.
Well, are you an incoming president or an incoming PR person?
I'm a repeat PR for far too long.
Repeat PR for far too long. Well, I'm wondering why you weren't on the other notifications, but I'm glad you are now.
Good. Thank you.
Frankie, do you have any questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Steve, after Frankie.
No, he can go.
Okay. Stephen?
Yeah, the question is, going back to third-party Rotary people, years ago, I went online and found a very nice Rotary logo that was rotating that I put onto my website. And Dan Goodrich went, you can't do that. And the zone director was the one who actually called him and said, very nice. What is the situation with third-party people using Rotary if just actually I was updating my website?
So I hate to break it to you, but the logo that's behind your head is not the proper format of the logo.
But by the way, that was done by Rotary in DACDB.
What year?
About 3 years ago when we went on to DACDB.
Well, they did it wrong. So one of the things you can do on Brand Central is really, and I can send you, I have actually, and I'll send the file to you too, Dan, but I went through and actually made the proper logos for every single club so that, and I've sent them to them, but I will send them out again so that you could use the logo that is the branded, appropriately branded logo. Yeah. But it's to go to your first question, there are, when you go to get your hats and shirts and any of your tchotchkes and cups and things like that, you need to go to a Rotary licensed vendor. They are found on Rotary.org. We can also we can get those put as a resource on our website. We're going to be updating the district website with some of these resources. When it comes to doing your website, DACDB offers to update your website if you need a third-party person to do it. I think when it comes to a website update, you don't have to go to a licensed professional because that doesn't fall in that category. But they do need to be aware of the current brand guidelines, and you can find that on Brand Central.
Okay, I'll follow up. And again, I woke up one day and here was our website, photo. I gave the photo and that's how, the inscription came back.
Yeah, the photo's great. The photo's great, just the logo is incorrect.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Linda, do you have any other questions?
I think I've asked what I need to ask. I'm curious. I don't really know how I did a press release on our officers and it'll be on our website as well as sending it out. But what I'm wondering is on that right-hand column where our officers show how that gets updated, and because that comes from DACDB.
Yeah, that'll get updated just automatically because when your secretary or whomever puts in the new slate of the board, that it automatically just transitions into your new website.
It seems like when I was on DACDB the other day, it said they're going to have an outage. Is it this weekend?
They have that often, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh.
If I could just comment on that, Judy.
Yeah.
I've been through it. They are updating your site, your complete club, to the new transition to your new officers, whatever you may have. It's an automatic thing. You don't have to do anything. Just stay off the site on June 30th, and it will be live on July 31st.
July 1st. July 1st.
July 1st. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question, Judy, and for Dan. So going back to keeping the Rotary International, the logo internal, is there any way, would we be in a sense like allowed to kick off our year just to the public, just a simple like, this is our theme for the year or something like that, just like a simple on July 1st, like even if it's something on social media, not necessarily where it stays forever, but like even like an Instagram story or a Facebook story? Will that be allowed, or would the public image please come get me?
Dan, you read that more than I did. I would lean on the go for it, but
I would probably too. I mean, if you follow the guidelines, not really. But one thing that I stuck to more is just our district theme, because we could use that, which we don't really have this year. Jamie's kind of leaning on the presidential theme, so she just kind of wants to stick to Rotary.
I did, Dan. I did speak to Jamie today.
Okay.
And we did talk a little bit about that. We had a pretty big meeting yesterday. My question was going to be to Judy, how you doing? Because I'm exhausted and I wasn't even there the full meeting. But
it was a long one. We got out of there sometime before dinner.
But Dan, you were spoken of quite highly at the meeting. I'm not sure how many voluntold things you've been granted, but
I can't say no for some reason.
But I spoke to Jamie today, and I talked to her about kind of what dovetailing on our meeting yesterday. What can the district do to support the club's goals? What can the district do to support the clubs supporting the district goals? But something we never discussed was, what can the district do to help the clubs support the district governor's goals? And we talked about her goals being mental health awareness and suicide prevention. And so I think that she's probably going to come out with her own theme along those lines. We talked about different organizations that we can associate multi-clubs with potential fundraisers and service projects with different clubs along those lines. So stand by to stand by. I think we're going to have a district governor with her own theme here before too long.
Well, that's good, because I know when we originally talked about it, her passion is very close to our new president's passion. So it kind of closely aligns. So I think that's kind of why she was leading me down the path of just kind of sticking with the presidential theme. But yeah, it'd be cool to see if she comes out with something. As far as my role, I'm going to stick to kind of the theme, for her, the colors, kind of like you've already seen. Anything I've just recently put out will kind of look, similar to the presidential theme, but it'll still stick to our logo. Whatever I can do to stretch it, I will definitely try, because I love these logos. As far as my experience in marketing, one of the hardest things for me to create is a logo. So if somebody hands me one, I'm gonna take full advantage of it, to be honest. But yeah, that's me. But yeah, that's kind of a tough situation. I mean, I would, do what you feel is right.
Well, I think I would support you, Dan, in that, because our district governor has chosen to have her theme be basically the Rotary International theme, then we throughout this district can support that and promote that in any way that seems appropriate. And I hope that answers your question, Frankie. First of all, there are no brand police, but we are trying. The biggest thing is we want to make whatever we're doing is to be consistent, right? Consistently use that logo, consistently have our Rotary logos be, along the brand guidelines as far as our clubs and our districts, because that lets the general public know that we're all together. We're all working together. We're not just individual little pockets of people out there doing good. We're actually a collaborative group of people doing amazing things in this world. So that's the purpose of the brand, specifically in, trying to keep that consistency.
Maybe the best bet is, if you do use a lockup, then you can, keep your club's branding on there, their logo, and then lock it up with the presidential logo. Maybe that would be the best solution.
Yeah.
Well, I also heard, I'm sorry, Frankie. I was going to say, I also heard Frankie say, what if we don't use the logo itself, but use the verbiage? And I don't think the verbiage is trademarked. And I think we could certainly use the verbiage in quotes in a banner or whatever, as long as we don't step on their logo in the public.
Yeah. Yeah, just don't modify it. Don't change
exactly.
it.
Yeah, you can use it, just don't modify it. That's the big thing. You're right, Mike. Make sure your club logo is locked up with it and don't modify it, but feel free to use it.
And feel free to share what Rotary International creates. we try to share a lot of information that they produce as well. So if you're utilizing Facebook or Instagram, just, share what they give you guys too. Are you guys still using Facebook?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We actually use Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Every week.
Is anybody jumping into the TikTok pool yet?
No, we haven't got there yet.
No. If anything, that's becoming more restrictive, isn't it? Or just not in? Yeah.
Not yet. It might, but it's not yet. So, and as you're beginning your new year, just keep in mind the editorial calendar really helps you plan out your year. We will send that. Well, where's that posted, Dan? Do we have it posted, or do we usually send it out?
I've sent the link out.
You know what? Let me.
To the file,
I will put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Let me go find it. And that's something you can use to help keep your, just to make sure you're staying on top of your posting and kind of thinking about the year and how you will be able to communicate to the outside audience during your year. I can't talk and look for things at the same time. So Dan, I'm going to turn it over to you while I go look for this.
Well, I try to post as much as I can. I know we've got a calendar that's completely filled. Every 5 days a week we have information to post, which is because Judy wrote that editorial calendar. And so that's been extremely useful, and it follows all of our themes. So every time, we transition from one month to the next month, it's just a different, type of content that we can put out there. So I if you guys have the ability to do that, at least post a couple times a week, 2 or 3 times, more the merrier, just to keep that algorithm going, and having your posts pop up all over the place. But yeah, post as often as you can, but it's great if you can put together that calendar. That makes it a lot easier.
Have you put the calendar in the chat?
She's
I'm
trying
putting
to,
it up there
trying
right now. Hold on just 1 second. Any other questions that you guys have before we conclude our meeting here?
Just like that, just to add, Judy, which just came up on calendar. If you're on DACDB, you get into your own website, you're on, beside when you hit My Club, hit District, go to the calendar, and you will find everything you have posted on your site will show up on the calendar.
That is a good resource.
It's very interactive.
Yep.
So you will see everything else happening in the district for the next 5 months.
Yeah, the website, the forward-facing website too, district5330.org, also has a calendar on it, and that's all of the district calendar, district events.
It's the exact same one.
Right.
Thank you, Judy.
So you can get it from multiple locations, but it pulls from DACDB, and it's all of the district events if you want to make sure that your event that you're planning is not on top of a district event, or if you want to attend a district event, they're all there.
I have one more question. Would you guys recommend ads, how on Instagram, anybody could post a sponsored ad, you'll be scrolling through Instagram and then randomly there's a few seconds of an ad? Would you guys think of that also might work to get our club more known out here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, paid advertising isn't something that a lot of clubs do, but it's absolutely encouraged if you have a budget for it. And I would encourage any presidents to give your PR directors at least a little bit of a budget in your club, because they are going to need it for things like Facebook ads, Instagram ads. Maybe they need to print a brochure or be get a booth at the local chamber mixer so that you can promote your club. There's so many different ways. And I know Dan will have some future workshops that we can talk about, all the different ways you can promote your club in the community. We've done a few of those, but it's probably a good time to do another one. And other topics. So what questions or what would you like a workshop to be about in the future to help Dan as he goes into his year preparing good content for you?
Are you asking a question?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at your
Judy?
Yeah, I got distracted too with your link.
Oh no. So the link is an example of what we did this last year. It has the months, each month has a theme. So you might follow along and fill in the type of content you would like for your club. This is just an example. You can use it if you want to then, as a framework for what you might want to post in your club.
All right, so this one's outdated that you gave us, yeah.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Example. It's an example.
Judy,
the month. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
One of the things that we talked about in the meeting yesterday was creating a toolbox, a district toolbox for the clubs to utilize. My thoughts for Dan would be, it would be great for Dan to have some sample press releases, sample logos, artwork, banner heads, things of that nature that we could incorporate into the toolbox eventually, but it would be something that we as a group could certainly benefit from before they ever make it to that toolbox. So if you ask things that I would be interested in learning about, would be to see some sample press releases with graphics. And to be honest, we don't have a Facebook page. We don't have an Instagram account. We're a bunch of old technosaurs over here in La Quinta. And any help we could use along those lines, that would be great too.
Steve?
Yeah, if I make a comment, actually to Frankie, you guys have been very good. And again, going down to La Quinta, if you post something in Easy Stories and you click on the box that says homepage, the rest of the district is going to see what you have. And I'm limited to 6 times because Dan Goodrich slapped my hand and I had too many. but Frankie, you have had a lot of visual setups here in the Valley just from your club, because who's doing your site is putting it down homepage. Forget about website, that's your website. But everybody sees what you're having. I look at it, and I've taught my people to look at it. So take it from there and everybody else. You know, when you're putting things into DACDB homepage, everybody's going to see it. And
So if you haven't recognized it, Stephen is a great resource.
I'm sorry, Judy.
I was just going to give you props that you're a great resource for DACDB, and he has said in the past that if you have DACDB questions, he would be happy to walk you through it. So
thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. He knows his stuff and he can be a good resource.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Somebody mentioned press releases. You know, I come from a background of press releases and newspaper work, and I'm just increasingly feeling that they're not worth it, that we're not getting any place with it. We have very little. Maybe out in the desert, I do know you have a local newspaper, but our local coverage is just deteriorating so fast. It's hard to get any attention, and I'm telling my club, hey, we got to have more people helping us be involved in social media. So for me to write a press release is fine, but it's got to be something that's going to work on Instagram, Facebook, etc. I mean, it's sad. It breaks my heart. I come from the newspaper background, but it's just not getting it. It's fading fast. And you know, not everybody's getting their news on social media either, but a whole lot more than they are on out of the Press Enterprise or Valley News.
I agree with what you're saying, Linda. My intention was the press releases can be a generic form and can be used across all formats, specifically for the social media formats.
Yeah, but it's a different writing style. It's like the difference between writing for radio and news.
I've been told I have a face made for radio. So,
Dan, you were going to say something?
I noticed I work for the city of Hemet, and I know what we try to do with press releases, because obviously we have to do those quite often, is that we still put them out on social media, but we also shift people to our website. So if you want to generate some extra traffic, at least it's something that you can use that's like visually appealing, where people are going to stop, they're going to read it, they're going to look for more information, and it's going to lead them to your website, which will provide a ton more information. So that might be just a tool that you could use it for.
And I'll piggyback on that. That is correct. Linda, keep writing those press releases, because that content is still valid. It's just the way it gets delivered. And to Dan's point, put it on your website, and then put a link from it with a great graphic or a little video from Facebook or Instagram that links to your website, so that because right now people typically have the attention span less than a guppy, which a guppy has like 8 seconds and we have like 5. So they need that quick little, like you were saying, the writing style is different. You've got to get that pop, get them to listen and to click and go to your press release on the website. I would also say that that there are no, at least in Southwest Riverside County, you are absolutely correct, Linda. We are like the forgotten area. The desert has a little bit more media that pays attention, but the patch does pay attention a little bit. So when you do submit, if you can submit in all of our district, make sure you include the patch in your press release distribution, because they will pick it up sometimes.
Can I also add something? What I recommended to our PR this year, because we have lunch meetings weekly, and I said, there's people that walk in and they turn the corner. It's like, why is everyone sitting there? So what I recommended, and we finally did it, is create a QR code, and we use a link tree. So once they scan that QR code, it takes them where they could click either on our Facebook website or Instagram, our Rotary website. We used to have a newsletter. I'm not sure if that's updated or not anymore, but I know those were our 3 main things. So all they had to do was scan the QR code, and like how you said, everybody's attention span it's already gone. So yeah, just another idea.
Great ideas and a great reminder, Frankie. It is easy and free to create a QR code. You go to flowcode.com. There's probably others, but that's the one I use. Frankie, you might have another one if you want to recommend it, but flowcode.com. There's a free version. You can create, I don't know how many. I have the paid one, but you have a limited amount of QR codes that you can create, and it's super simple. You just have to have a name for it and the URL or the website that you want it to go to, and that's it's good to go, and you can put it on everything. All right, Dan, do you want to say anything else, or are we ready to wrap this up?
I think we're ready to wrap it up, unless you guys have any more questions.
Oh, one more question. Sorry. Do we know when the new themes, are there going to be new themes for this upcoming Rotary year, or it's going to stay the same for the months? Because I've been looking at DACDB and I haven't seen anything.
The themes for the months will be the same.
Okay.
Yeah, they stay the same. And I will, we'll try to get an updated calendar that has the changes, the days, and is blank for you guys, so that you can, take the ideas from the one I sent you and then put it into a new one that's blank. So I'll work on that and send that to Dan. Yes, Mike.
You have regular PR Zoom meetings like this? Is this once a month? So I'd like to, when are they? When's the next one going to be? Is my question. Yeah.
That's up to Dan on how he wants to set them up.
I'm going to try to keep this going on every 4th Monday of the month at 5:30. Yeah. So I'm gonna do my best. My schedule's a little hectic right now, so I'm just gonna have to feel it out, at least for this first month, maybe. But my goal is to still keep it going.
And Dan, I'll jump in and help you if you need, and Steve might help as well. If I'm voluntolding you, Steve.
Thank you, Judy.
You're welcome.
This year, we're hoping to have a really strong President's Council, at least down here in our desert area. Right, Frankie? And I think that maybe the presidents should be included in the link with the PR people if you have that. But at the very least, I'd like you to get the word out through the President's Council so that they can make sure that they're either in attendance or aware that it exists.
Actually, Bruce, if I can comment, that does happen. I had a note today from my president saying, "Are you going to attend?" I have not had previously. Judy and I and Dan, I think I've attended just about every one of your webinars. Thank you.
Number one fan.
And, we showed what we do and everything. We were number one in the district, but forget about that. But it is very good. I am available locally that you're in the district. Dan and Judy, of course, Judy's going to get more involved in her own mishigas, as we say, what's happening. And just let us know. We're here to help you. We know what we're doing or not.
We can figure it out.
Yes. This is what it's all about. And thank you.
If there's at least one thing you take away from this meeting, you should know that there are a ton of resources available to you. So if you cannot find it on the Rotary brand or just the Rotary's website or specifically Public Image on the Brand Center, you can always reach out to us. There's always a plan B. We'll help you get through it no matter what.
Thanks, guys.
And share the love. Tell everybody and all your fellow presidents and fellow PR chairs that they've got a resource. They just have to show up the fourth Monday of every month.
Thank you. Wonderful time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a great